Hey everyone, welcome back to Shop Life. This quick DIY is going to show you how to replace your rear main seal. So this is already assuming you've got the transmission off, you've already got, if it's automatic, you've got the torque converter, all of that stuff taken out, as well as the flex plate. And now if this is a manual, this is assuming you've taken off the whole clutch assembly and you've also removed the flywheel. So this is where we're at right now, everything is removed. Alright, so this right here is the rear main seal. This is the back of the engine, this is the crankshaft, and this is the rear main seal. So the rear main seal has two components technically. So we're gonna actually remove this whole plate that the rear main seal is pressed into. When we remove the plate, there's another gasket that's behind there. So we're gonna be replacing that gasket. We're gonna be replacing this rear main seal. We're also gonna add some RTV or gasket maker right on the bottom of this plate. That way it seals against the oil pan. So in order to remove this rear main seal, like I said, we are gonna remove this plate. In order to remove the plate, we have to undo all of these bolts. And there's two bolts that go from the oil pan into it as well. So the rear main seal on these BMWs, I actually haven't had too many leak. I always do this preventatively. But if you have replaced your oil pan gasket and all of your other gaskets, and you're still leaking between the transmission bell housing and the back of the engine, chances are your rear main seal is bad. So let's just get right on with it and let's replace this. So first we're gonna remove these two 13mm bolts. Now we're going to remove these two 10mm bolts from the oil pan. Now we're going to remove these four 10mm bolts. And they are all the same size. With the bolts all out, now we're going to gently pry this whole plate off. So there's little tabs right here where you can just pry on it gently. Now the quickest way to remove the rear main seal out of this holder is you just want to put a rag or something down, get like two pieces of wood, and you want to rest this on like some 2x4s, so that way you're not putting any pressure against the rear main seal. And just hold it down like there. Just get like a flathead, and you want to hit on the inside of the seal, not on the plate, on the seal. Now then just give it a few whacks. You can see how it just popped out. Do the same thing on this side. And there you have it. And you can see the inside of this plate. We're just gonna clean it up. So here's the new rear main seal. It actually came with this plastic piece pressed in already. So we're gonna leave that in there until we put it on the car. Once the seal is around the actual crankshaft, then we can pull this plastic piece out. That way the inner part of this seal, it actually seals around the crankshaft without getting damaged. So we're just gonna reinstall it. We've got everything cleaned up. And as far as the depth of how far you wanna press this seal in, is you just wanna have it flush with the opening right here. So on the top, it's just gonna be completely flush. And even if you cleaned it, you might be able to see some marks where the oil has stained it. And you kinda wanna leave those marks there. That way you know if you're going in too far or if you haven't pushed it far enough. So I'm gonna put it right on top like this. And we're gonna use the old seal, put it on top of that. We're just gonna use a straight piece of wood, put it on top. And the main goal here is you just wanna get it started first. That way we can see how far it's going. And try to hit it right in the middle. You can see how it's going straight in. You don't want that plastic piece to bottom out on this wood, so we're just gonna separate the wood a little bit and give it a little bit of space in there. Put the old seal back on top and just keep hitting it until it's flush. Alright, so now we've got it evenly pressed all the way around. You wanna confirm by looking on the back and just seeing where your oil marks were. And just make sure it is evenly pressed around the whole perimeter. Now you just want to make sure all these mating surfaces are clean. We're going to go take the gasket off the back of the engine first, and then we're gonna put the new gasket on before we put this back on. All right, so now we're gonna remove this black seal that's on the back of the engine. You might have to use a blade to just get it started off. After you've cleaned it, you can put the new gasket on. It only goes on one way, even with these indentations. So the wider section on this side goes towards the passenger side of the engine. So you want to get it over those dowels. It is going to be a tight fit, so we're just going to push it in the rest of the way with the actual plate itself. Now once you've cleaned the bottom of this, we are going to put some RTV on the inside of this and just spread it out. You need a very thin layer. Now some of it is going to spread when we start sliding it on, which is okay. We just want to try to form a seal against that oil pan gasket. I'm going to start sliding the bolts in. The 213s. And then all of the 10mm bolts that go across the top. You can pull this out. And we're just going to tap it back in all the way against the dowels. Now we don't want to tighten any of these all the way. We're just going to get them snug, and then we'll put the 2 bolts in right here as well and get those snug. Now we're going to tighten these 2 13mm bolts first. Then the 10s. You kind of want to do these in a star pattern. And lastly, you want to do these 10s at the bottom. And that's pretty much it for this DIY. It was very quick and easy. I will have all the torque specs listed on here as well, but you do want to torque these down. You don't want to over tighten them, especially those 10mm bolts. They are very easy to break. Besides that, you do want to wait for that crankshaft seal about 4 hours before you turn the car on, or you fill everything else up back with oil. So 4 hours, that's pretty much how long it's going to take to put the transmission and everything back together anyways, so it's not too long of a time. And also, depending on your gasket maker that you use, they have their own set times. Make sure you follow all those timelines, that way you don't have any leaks in the future. Besides that, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. To see the rest of this car, the X5 that we're working on, we'll have vlogs for all that stuff that will be posted on here soon. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in our next video.